Hi, and welcome to Chat and That podcast. Kind of the last episode of the year, of the academic year. But I've got someone very, very special that a lot of people dreamed to have on the show. This person you may know as one of our lecturers at film production, and that is the legendary, the great Paul Carter.
What an introduction!
Thank you very much for coming on. Thank you. I know you're a busy man doing a lot of marking and stuff.
Yes, Rob's going to kill me. I'm meant to be marking now. Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
dear.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's a good question. Was it like having Rob, an ex-student, under your command?
He's not under my...
No, not your command.
I'm under his command.
Yeah, under his command. Yeah. What's that like?
It's great. I mean, Rob is a fantastic program leader. And yeah, no, it's really good.
Oh, awesome. Okay. He gave me some questions that I'm kind of like curious about. I don't think the first one is you're not an assassin, right? That's what he said.
Rob gave you questions.
Yeah. Well, yeah, sort of. But I heard a rumor that you were assassin in the early days. Is that true? Okay, no, that's not true.
I trained as one, but I didn't pass the exam. Yeah.
Right.
That's a lie.
That's a lie. Okay. Well, I thought you could say you're in the army or something. Anyway, that's a joke question. Thanks for coming on here. I really appreciate that. You're a very busy guy. Why are you here?
I have no idea. No, to stop you hassling me, basically.
Right. Yeah.
Because all of us like to support our students and what they do, kind of extracurricular and whatever. And yeah.
This is not for a module, though. This is just for fun.
No, it's
but thank you very much. Yeah, that's very great.
Outside of your university work, we like to support. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks very much. Yeah, I really appreciate that. But there's so much stuff I want to talk to you about because you're the person that I want to interrogate. I like interrogating people.
You have been trying to tie me down for nearly 2 years now.
Yeah. I just want to say that I did have a really great chat with you about, I think it was about 6 months ago at the pub thing. And I said because I'm basically like an old person, I've been raised in, people keep saying that. I talked to you about how my parents raised me on good, I'm not going to go into details, but good political views. And you said, and I talked to you about all this stuff that I grew up with. And you said to me, can you say something to your parents? I went, yeah. And he said, tell them that I love them. Yeah. I love them very much. Yeah.
I meant it.
Yeah. And talked about the BBC and stuff like that.
Good parenting.
Yeah.
Good parenting.
Yeah. I grew up with Newsnight and BBC and
your love of Jeremy Paxman.
Yeah, love Jeremy Paxman. I just said that earlier. I love Jeremy Paxman. I miss him, actually. He's quite unwell, did you know? He's got Parkinson.
Yes. Yeah.
That's really sad. Anyway, sorry, moving on. Sorry. I could talk about Paxman and BBC for hours. So the questions I ask everyone is that how did we meet? Do you remember?
Well, it must have been in class. I mean, I must would have taught you in your first year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How, and also, okay, so yeah, but how did you remember meeting Rob and Fiona and Jake and Julio? Do you remember meeting them?
Right. Rob is an interesting one because, of course, I taught him when he was a student. And I don't have much memory of that because he wasn't a very standout student. He wasn't someone that I was going to remember. Fiona, I met when she came for the interview for the position that she's in, and I was part of the interview team. Jake, I think, is the same because although he was a student here, he was a student in a different program to the one that I taught on. So I didn't teach Jake. I taught Rob, but not Jake.
Oh, you didn't teach Jake?
No.
Because Jake was a student.
He was a student here, and he was a student here when I was teaching here. But it was in a different program, so we didn't meet.
Oh, wow.
And Julio, I met again when they meet everyone who works on the team when they come for an interview for the job.
Oh,
so,
right.
Yeah.
What were your first impressions of all of them?
First impressions. I was very excited about Rob becoming a tutor here. That was great. Fiona impressed me completely from the moment she walked into the room, because we asked prospective tutors to give a presentation, and Fiona walked into the room and just started presenting, because that's who Fiona is. So that was great. Jake, I was really excited about, because someone with his technical skills and abilities was absolutely welcome on the course. And Julio is just a bundle of fun, so I really enjoyed that, meeting him, and I enjoy working with them all. We have, I mean, this isn't an advert for the program, but we have the best teaching team and the most complete teaching team in the country, university. It all works. It's really good.
Yeah, there is some. Yeah, they're all really great tutors, and you do, and you're a great tutor as well.
No, I'm not.
Oh. I just think it's very right. There's so much I want to get back into this show. So, where are you from? Where are you from? Right, tell me about.
Only down the road, Worthing in Sussex.
Oh, really?
On the south coast. Yeah.
Is that where you're born?
That's where I was born. Yeah, brought up. Yeah.
And right, so you were brought up.
Yeah.
What did your parents do? Were they into film?
No. My father was an electrical engineer. My mother was high up in school meals management for the county.
Wow. And what do you have any siblings?
I've got a brother. He was civil engineer. He designed roads and things. He's retired now. That's it. Just one brother.
So, what were your hobbies growing up? What was your childhood like? In a few words, your childhood like? Quite a very.
And it's a difficult question.
Yeah, very difficult.
I'm not very good on hobbies, growing up, I was terribly interested in television. But not just in like watching programs, but I was fascinated by how they were produced and that kind of thing. So I had kind of building blocks. They were made out of kind of a rubber type material. They're quite hard rubber, very much like Lego. So they had bits sticking out of them. So I can remember that I don't know how old I was, really quite young. I built kind of a control panel, that these sticky out bits were the buttons, and I was pretending that I was changing the shots on television. And that's my first memory of being overcome by the production of television.
Wow, that's so
and
cool.
I was probably about 7 or 8.
So you watched a lot of television from then on.
Yeah.
What were your kind of favourite programs when you were growing up?
I mean, things like Blue Peter and Magpie and all that kind of stuff, and stuff that isn't there anymore, and of course cartoons.
Yeah. So did you? So you were, born in Sussex.
Yeah.
Grown up in Sussex, and then when did you kind of leave the nest, and where did you go, and stuff like that?
Okay, well, I got married at 19.
Wow.
Yeah. So of course I left the nest at that point. Actually, I left a year or so before that. And I stayed around south of England for a long time. I went to live in Spain for 3 years.
Wow. Why did you live in Spain?
I was DJing.
DJing? So it is true.
Yes.
Rob was making it up.
No, Rob wasn't making that bit up. I was a professional DJ for many years, actually, because DJing is great, because you can do it in the evening and the night, and then you don't get any sleep and you go to work the next morning if you want to make more money.
Oh, wow. So you went to Spain to work as a DJ?
Yeah.
And then you came back from Spain to England?
Yep. Are we going to go through my whole life? Okay, so then I came back, and before I'd gone, from getting kicked out of school at 16, I trained as a television engineer. And as soon as I was 17, they gave me a van, which was their mistake, but there you go. And so I went to people's homes and mended televisions and stuff. And then that kind of got me also into the DJing business, because I was able to use bits from televisions to make DJ equipment and that kind of thing. And I don't know how much I can talk about this stuff. I actually started DJing in nightclubs when I was 16.
Wow.
So I had 3 19th birthdays, because every time my birthday came up, they couldn't admit that I was underage.
Oh my God.
So I was having lots of 19th birthdays. And it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Are you a music buff then?
No.
You're not?
No.
Were you Top of the Pops fan?
Yeah.
Yeah. My mum was an addict on Top of the Pops. She was growing up.
I wouldn't call myself an addict, and I mean, it was got to work out the years. It was kind of 70s and 80s disco.
Nice.
Which difficult to describe as good music, but it was a lot of fun.
Okay. So what was after? So what kind of, so kind of like describe
Where
your
we
jobs.
got to?
So you got to the DJ bit.
Yeah.
What was after the DJ bit at your job?
After the DJ
Oh,
bit,
no, television engineer, sorry.
Yeah, so I did that with the DJing quite a lot, but not very much because I didn't get up in the mornings. And then, what did I do? When I came back from Spain, I managed 10-pin bowling centres.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wow. Okay.
This all sounds incredible. None of this is glamorous.
No, but it's incredible. But you're our lecturer, and you're legendary.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
I really am not.
Yeah, a lot of students say that. Tons.
And then what happened? Oh, I mean, I've had loads and loads of different jobs. I've been in sales. I've been in marketing. I've worked in shops. All kinds of stuff, and much too much, really. I should have calmed down and concentrated on something serious, but I never did. And then I moved to the Northeast, and I got involved with a community centre. But no, not a community centre. It was an arts centre in Darlington, and I was working as stage manager there and doing the lighting and all that kind of thing, which I'd dabbled with before as that was kind of a hobby, amateur theatricals. Anyway, yeah, amateur drama was kind of a hobby, and but then I started doing it properly, and then it was. It was back in the day when video was just becoming popular. Yeah, I mean, like I am so old. But it was back in the day when people were getting video cameras and that kind of thing. And I got together with the art centre, and we started a community video workshop. And I was in charge of it, and I got equipment for it, and we... and people would come in, and it gave people who had camcorders the opportunity to edit stuff and that kind of thing.
Right.
And then we started running courses on how to use camcorders. I mean, weirdly, one of my jobs that I took at that point was that the county council had bought every school a camcorder. But the headmasters of these schools, all of them, kept the camcorder locked away because it was very valuable and they didn't know what to do with it.
Oh,
So I
no.
started to go around to schools and teach how to use it with the kids. Even though I had no teaching experience, I didn't know what I was doing, so I learned from that. Um, and then I started making commercial and promotional films around the area. Nothing big, nothing national, nothing. Actually, nothing that I still have. I've lost all my tapes. I've lost everything. What did I do then? Don't know.
With the BBC?
Oh God!
Did you
Well,
pick
the
up?
BBC was somewhere in the middle of all this.
Was it?
Yeah, I mean, I started freelancing for the BBC when I was in my teens. I was doing. I was working on a youth program on what was BBC Radio Brighton and is now BBC Radio Sussex. And I was doing stuff then. I mean, while I was doing that, I actually had my biggest coup. Do you want to hear about my biggest coup?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to look up the date. I think it was 1971 that, oh no, it must be 74 because it was it was it was an anniversary this year of ABBA winning Eurovision. And Eurovision that year was in Brighton, which is where I was doing my radio stuff. And I knew that Eurovision was going to be in Brighton. So I phoned the producer of the program that was going to choose the song for Europe, for the UK. And said, could I come along to the last show and interview the person, because it was very early in their production, they didn't know who was going to sing it. Could I come along and interview the person who's going to sing the song? And the producer said, yes, that'd be great. Why don't you do that? And I didn't think any more about it because it was like 6 months before the program. And then I started getting phone calls from the manager of Radio Brighton saying that he was getting phone calls from London because BBC Radio were trying to get in and interview the person who's singing the song. And the producer was saying, no, you can't, because I've asked Paul Carter to do it. And I was in my teens and the whole of BBC Radio was trying to get the interview and they couldn't get it. And I was freelance. So if I produced something like that, I got paid for it. So I didn't even work for the BBC. So on the night I went along to the programme, I have to say it was Jimmy Savile, and that's not my fault.
Oh my God!
But it was Jimmy Savile, and actually I didn't go to the programme because the programme had been recorded the day before, and what they were having was like a big reception, and so I turned up in my usual clothes, which at that time was probably yellow cord jeans and a yellow satin jacket or something, and weird boots, because that's what we were then. And I had no idea what was going on, and but it was a champagne reception. The head of Light Entertainment was there. All the big bosses of BBC were there, and there was just little old me representing BBC Radio, which was a hell of a shock. And I interviewed Olivia Newton-John.
Wow.
Who was the singer for the programme. And we went into a private room and I interviewed her for about 10 minutes and she was lovely and it was all great. And then I went back to Brighton where someone who did work for the BBC, and I'm not going to say his name, sat down with me and said, you've got a real scoop here, you've got to do something with this. And so we edited it together, edited the interview and sent it out to everyone we could think of. And it got on almost every radio station, or almost every English-speaking radio station in the world.
Wow.
For which I got paid lots of money, and yet kind of against the rules, because if you sell it to one, they shouldn't sell it to anybody, but I sold it everywhere. And when I interviewed Olivia Newton-John, I said to her, as the last question, I said to her, was it your favourite song? Because I thought that was the most important thing. And she said, well, no, it wasn't my favourite, but it's quite nice. And when I started hearing the interviews being played on different radio stations, the only bit of the whole interview that they used was Olivia Newton-John saying, no, but it was quite nice.
Oh.
So I got a phone call from Olivia Newton-John's agent who said, don't approach any of my artists ever again.
Oh my God.
I mean, it was funny. It made me a lot of money, but it was a very strange thing.
Oh my God.
But Olivia Newton-John was nice.
Is that's the Grease?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ask Grease questions?
No, this is ages before Grease.
Was it?
Yeah.
What year did Grease come out? Oh, wow, really? Way before Grease?
Yes, that old.
Wow.
I am an old person.
Sorry. Wow, that's pretty cool. So did that put you on the map then, would you say?
No.
Oh.
No, because it wasn't about, this is this fantastic interview from Paul Carter. It was, we've got this fantastic quote from Olivia Newton-John saying she doesn't like the song.
Right, yeah.
So, no, I just disappeared. I went back to doing the stuff I've been doing for Radio Brighton. No, not much.
Okay, so that was that. So when you said the BBC that was in the middle, and did you ever
it's
work?
kind of
dabbles.
Yeah, well, there's all kinds of things going on at the same time because you can do kinds of things. As a freelance, you're working all over the place.
Could you list off the stuff that you have done quite quickly of the companies and the stuff you've done for them?
No.
So if you work
not
for
quite quickly.
When you're freelance, do you work for Channel 4, ITV?
No. No, I only ever freelanced for, I suppose, actually entirely for the BBC, and almost entirely in radio. So
you were mainly in radio for the BBC.
Yeah, that's the work I did for the BBC in radio and sound.
Right. So you can go to like Television Centre and.
Well, I went to the Television Centre, but it didn't work there. I did some work on BBC South, doing some sound work for them, but that's about it.
So a lot of sound radio stuff.
Yeah. So.
Oh, cool. So what kind of did you You didn't present. You didn't do any like little. Interviews.
I didn't do any. Excuse me. I didn't do any radio presentation, but I did quite a lot of radio journalism.
Right.
So
nice.
I was out reporting.
And what stuff did you report?
Anything that wasn't heavy.
Anything that wasn't heavy?
Yeah, I did no straight news reporting at all. I did, I did Lost Cats, and no, I didn't. I did. As a freelance for a local radio station, what I was doing was going somewhere, getting their local paper, looking at the posters and things that are going on around, and seeing if I could draw a story out of it.
Right.
So generally, I wouldn't even be told by the news editor, please go and get a story on this. I had to go and find the story, contact the news editor and say, would you like a story on this? Right. And they would say yes or no, or Paul, you've got to be joking. And so, so that's what I did for quite some time. And in between that, I was a studio manager, so I was technically operating the station. Right. I was going to say the studio, but actually, since there is only one kind of studio operating out to the world at any one point, you're operating the station. So I'm doing continuity, playing in things. I'd be setting up studios for other shows.
Well, the kind of like the standout moments where you're working in the station and stuff like that, and the stories and the
standout moments are things like, and again I can't remember the date. you can look it up and put it in.
Okay.
Put it. You can
Put it at the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was the Fastnet race that went wrong. And
Fastnet race.
Fastnet race is a race from Cowes. It's a yacht race. It's a race from Cowes to, can't remember, a point in Ireland, and I think probably back again. And it happens, I think, every year or every other year, and lots of people take place. But in this year, there was a terrible storm, and a lot of people died. And I was tech operating the station, and we were just about to kind of close the station, which we did by going over to Radio 2, and Radio 2 would be played out on the transmitters. And the news person came in and said, this is all happening. And we had to work very hard to get lines set up to Air Force bases where they were doing rescue and stuff, and we were trying to keep people in touch with what boats were safe and what was going on, because Cowes is part of Solent's main area, and so people would be looking to us for that kind of news. And we worked through the night on it, and it was quite emotional. Every time we found that a boat was safe as opposed to in danger, that was really something.
Oh my God.
And that was good. And I did that with the news person, who then went on to become a future wife. Which was nice. So that was quite something.
Yeah. Right. Oh, so you met on that boating?
We met. We remained friends for many years before we married. But yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, any other programs did you like? So, what kind of other? Did you ever get to travel around with the BBC, like around the world, and do stuff? No. Like just around the country.
Oh, I got to Bournemouth quite a lot.
All right. Oh, I've just been there yesterday.
Yeah, got there. That's good. No, I really am not that important.
Yeah, you are.
No, I'm not.
You're a DJ's pretty cool. So you dibble dabbled in doing BBC freelance stuff.
Yeah.
Mostly in radio. You didn't do any television.
No.
Okay. So when did you kind of stop freelancing, and did you do anything? I'm just trying to think. So BBC freelancing, teaching at schools. What was next? Just after that, what was your next step?
This is going to be quite a pause because I'm trying to work this out. Don't know. I suppose the next step is after. I'm still messing about doing all these kind of things, and then I got married to an author. And so I worked with her for a while doing research, historical author, so doing historical research, helping to run a charity which was kind of my idea.
What was the charity?
Okay, well, a lot of the stuff in my life has come out of doing research for this author. And one of the things was that she wanted to write about slavery. So we went to the Gambia because slaves came from the Gambia, and also from Senegal, which is next to the Gambia. And we were taken around. The Gambia is a weird country because you can go and stay in a 5-star hotel on the seafront, and it's gorgeous. And then you walk outside your hotel, and it is, well, it was, literally a very poor country. And we were taken out into the not not jungle, but countryside, as it were. And we were taken to a school, and we were talking to the person who ran the school, and he asked if we would make a contribution to the school so that they could dig a well in the school so that the children could learn how to grow food, and so they would have water to grow the food.
Oh.
And so we said yes, and then we asked, instead of a contribution, what if we bought the well? Because, we were not broke. And he told us how much the well would cost, and we said, okay, well, yeah, we'll give you the money for the well. And then I started to think about it. And I said, well, maybe we should kind of make it a commemorative thing, and we could name the well.
Right.
So we named the well after our daughter. And then I thought, that's quite nice. We could get other people to dig wells, and they could name their wells.
Right.
And so I haven't been involved for many years, but I am proud to say that started a charity which has now dug a well in almost every school in the Gambia.
Wow. Wow. And is that charity still going?
I believe it is.
What's it called?
It's called Wells for Gambia.
Wells Gambia.
Wells for Gambia.
Wells for Gambia.
It's I think I thought of it, which is why it's not a very clever title. But yeah.
Wow, that's such a proud thing to achieve.
Yeah, I look back on it as something special. Yes,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you are a legend. All the well, starting a charity and then having like loads and loads of wells after that one.
It was my idea. I didn't take it forward for very long, but I did start it. Yeah.
You founded it, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. Is the well still there?
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
Has your daughter visited it?
Yes.
All right. And that's a good lead-on question. What your children in the industry at all?
I have a son in the industry. He's a development manager for a small production company.
Wow. What kind of stuff does he do?
Feature films, but not many. They've had one which has been successful. It's on Netflix, etc., etc.
What's it called?
Shit.
Do you want to does he have an IMDb page?
Yes.
Yeah.
What the bloody hell is it called? I don't want anyone looking at it. It's not very good.
We could put a thing at the end.
I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I will let you know.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna quickly. Okay, so your son does that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So he founded the production company.
No.
No. He's just involved with it, and he's been involved with it for a long time.
A couple of years now. Yeah, 3 years, I think. Yeah.
And he's followed in your footsteps. Is that what you say?
He wouldn't say that. No,
Okay.
he wouldn't say that at all. He would say he's doing much better than me and always has done.
Okay. What other feature films has he done? Any big ones before that?
No, he spent a long time working with a very important producer in the BBC, and I'm not going to name that producer. But what he did was he was a script reader for her and a script editor.
Right.
That's how he built up his career. What happened was he started work for her just as a script reader and script. I don't know if you know about script readers. I mean, production companies get so many scripts that the people at the top of the production company just hadn't got time to read them. So they send them out to script readers. And script readers are people who understand film. They're not very high up in film, but they can actually see, oh, this is a good idea, or we could work with this and develop it more, or that kind of thing. And so they pass it up the line. And my son was pretty good at that, and so he then went on to be a script editor for this producer, and he did that for quite a few years, and then was approached by the film company to work on their first film, which I will remember the name of one day.
Wow.
And they're just about to go in production with another film, and they've got one more on the slate ready to go.
Wow, that's cool.
That is cool.
And where does he live? Does he live in London or?
He lives in London, North London, yeah.
And what does your daughter do?
My daughter is a psychologist and
Wow.
actually works in job centres, helping
Right.
people who finding it difficult to work.
Wow. Wow.
And she's also a magistrate.
A judge?
Yeah.
Well, in a court?
Yeah.
What, like, where's the wig?
No.
What, does she hold the gavel? That kind of.
No. There are no gavels in British courts.
Is there
you
not?
really need to know this.
Wow, I didn't know
if you're
that.
ever going to make a film
Yeah.
in court, do not give the judge a gavel. She doesn't do criminal cases or anything like that. She does family court,
Wow.
where people do things like arrangements for children or divorces or that kind of thing.
Wow, that's an amazing job to do that.
Well, yeah, it's an amazing job, but it's not paid.
Enough.
No,
Is it not?
No, it's a voluntary thing, but
Oh, it's just voluntary?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
She gets expenses, that's all.
That's cool. Well, that's a very, very... Wow, you must be very proud of her. That's very...
I'm proud of, yes,
yeah, that's very cool,
I'm
yeah.
proud of them both. Yeah,
Yeah, they're good. Yeah. Wow, that's cool. Well, you must be very proud of them both. Wow, that's quite cool. Oh, right. Well, yeah, helping people is seems like a big thing with you, with the Wells, and then having,
I'd like to think so.
yeah.
I refer you back to your parents.
Yeah. Oh, yes, thank you. Yeah. My parents were documentary makers.
Yeah.
And, I was just, throughout childhood, I was spoon-fed on documentaries, and I don't want to do a documentary. They're so hard to make. The impact's good in the end, but I'm like, I just can't do them. But they worked a bit for Panorama and stuff like that. But it was great having that conversation with you, and you were like, oh my God, I'm in love with your parents and stuff like that. But moving on, but there's one big question I have to ask, okay? And this is driving me absolutely bananas, okay? Right. And Rob always says this, and it drives me crazy, and I don't know if he's real or not. You ran a circus, correct? Right. When, how, why? Were you the acrobat? Were you the clown? Were you the lion tamer?
Okay. So I told you about doing the research in the Gambia.
Yeah.
Because my wife wanted to write a book about slavery.
Yeah.
So one day she said to me, Paul, I'm writing a book about a circus, that's set in a circus. Please find us a circus that we can go and stay on for a while and get an idea of what it's like. Because these are the kind of research things that I was...
Say that again? Say that again? So you did it...
She said, please find a circus that we can go and stay with and travel with for a few weeks so that I can find out exactly what it's about, how a circus works.
Right.
So we hired a Winnebago thing and went and lived on a circus for 3 weeks. And she wrote the book, and I forgot all about it, and she forgot all about it. But we made friends with the people on the circus because it was lots of fun, and they're actually very nice people. And then probably a year, 2 years later, I got a phone call from the ringmaster and manager of the circus telling me that the owner of the circus was going to sell it and they were all going to be out of a job and there's nothing they could do, and could we think of any way of helping them? And I just went to my wife and said, do you want to buy a circus?
And you did.
And she said yes, and we
Right.
did.
And you bought the circus.
And we bought the circus.
And did you run it? Where did you run it from?
We were all then living in Midhurst in Sussex, and we made that kind of our company base. But the circus was basically travelling around, apart from winter when it went into storage, as it were.
Right.
And it went all over the country.
Right.
And for a while was quite successful.
What was it called? Paul's Circus?
No, it was called Circus Harlequin.
Right.
And it was, for example, featured as the Christmas circus on BBC One on Christmas morning, where they did the whole hour and a half from the circus tent, that kind of stuff.
Wow.
It was quite fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you ever go to the circus a lot, or did you just spend the time in the office?
I visited the circus probably twice a week, I suppose. But I mean, it meant a lot of travelling, which I didn't want to do. But
You didn't want to do it.
driven all over the country doing it, so
That's pretty cool.
But it's fun. No,
Yeah.
it's good.
And
It's good.
and you didn't have any like elephants or?
Yes, don't laugh. Yes,
Did you?
yes. Well, we had one elephant. We bought the circus.
Are you actually being serious?
Yes.
I thought animals were.
No, hold on. This is all happening quite some time ago. Okay?
Right.
And it was at the point where there was a lot of discussion about animals in circuses.
Yeah. Yeah.
And circuses were going out of business a bit because they had animals. And so people were changing to non-animal circuses. And we bought it kind of at that division point. And we thought we could change the circus to be a non-animal circus. I mean, when we bought it, it had an elephant, probably 7 or 8 lions, probably the same number of tigers. It had horses and camels and giraffes. No, it didn't have giraffes. It had zebras. Couldn't travel with giraffes. Their head was okay out of the cage. No. So it had quite a lot of animals.
Wow.
And circus is a culture. And to turn around to these people and say you've got to get rid of your animals is like almost impossible.
Yeah, like a big blow. Yeah.
It was very difficult for them at that time because there was nowhere where they could put their animals. There are places now where you can say, look, I've got a lion, please have my lion. And there are lion sanctuaries, and there are places all over the world. We moved the elephant quite quickly because the elephant was on their own, and she was lonely. Elephants are pack animals. They don't like to be on their own. So we gave the elephant away. We couldn't find a zoo that would take it. We couldn't find a safari park that would take it. So we gave it to another circus, but it was a circus in Spain that was run by women, which we thought was kind of safer and it wasn't going to be mistreated. And it went into a big pack of other elephants, and so I was happy. But there wasn't much we could do with kind of the lions and the tigers, and I wasn't allowed to take them home.
Oh. So you didn't have one still in your back garden?
No.
No.
Oh, I did have a tiger in my back garden.
What? Please elaborate, please.
While I was doing the circus, I wanted to continue the stuff that I'd been learning about filmmaking. And if you can remember 3 hours ago, I told you that I left school at 16.
Yeah.
So I didn't go to university at that point. So while I was doing the circus, I decided that I would go to university to find out about the theories and practice of filmmaking. So I went to Farnham College, it was then, it's part of Surrey University. and did a degree in, I think it's called video and film.
Right.
And during that, I had to make my final film.
Which is still available?
Hmm?
Is it available?
No,
Oh.
no, it was never completed. I can tell you why in a moment. But so I did the final film, and it was a story about a woman who goes to the swimming pool every day and just does lengths in breaststroke and just goes up and down and up and down, and dreams. And what she dreamt about was swimming in India. And so we we did some landscape stuff. We had a swimming pool, and we did a landscape stuff, making the pool look like it was a river or a pond in India. And to help with that, the circus lent me a tiger. So
Whereabouts? Just out
Midhurst.
Midhurst.
Yeah,
Wow.
which is north of Brighton.
So what was the scene then? What was what you had the tiger? Because you said it was like a swimming pool, was that right? Yeah. So do you have the tiger in the pool?
It's sitting on the bank.
On the bank.
Of a pool, looking at her swimming up and down.
And how does that train a tiger not to do that, not to jump and eat the crew?
I've no idea.
Right.
So it wasn't tame. It had a very big chain on to make sure that it wouldn't jump out. But
so that's what. So you had it in the back garden.
Yeah. And the funniest thing was that I mean, it was obviously quite safe, but it's in the country. Excuse me, I'll start that again. The funniest thing was that it's in the country, and it was on there's a public footpath that goes past.
Yeah.
And just watching the faces of people walking past and seeing this tiger on the side of a swimming pool in old Midhurst in Sussex was fantastic. I enjoyed it a lot.
Wow. So you because I had a rumour that that's what you did with all your lazy students. You would feed them to the tigers. That's what Paul.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, you're not allowed to do that.
Oh, okay, right. Any other? So just after. Okay, so right, that's the circus. So tell me about like the journey from BBC to BBC to Winchester.
Right, let's go back a bit.
Okay, where's that gap?
Yeah, I will come to that. I'm
Okay.
sorry. There's one more bit.
Please do.
There's one more bit I've got to tell you. This is going to go into series 3, isn't it? This is ridiculous.
Yeah, no, please.
Okay, so the circus wasn't doing too well. Part of the problem of circuses at that time was actually getting somewhere to take the circus to, because councils were saying you can't come to us if you've got animals, and that's fair enough, and I don't. But it means that we weren't making enough money to keep it going. So I saw in a kind of entertainment magazine, I think it's probably The Stage, an advert from the Malaysian government, or part of the Malaysian government. It's Penang, which is in Malaysia, asking for circuses to put in to go an application to go to Penang to put on a circus for their holiday season. And so I thought that was a great idea. So we put in an application, and we were one of 2 or 3 circuses that were being considered. And so I went to Malaysia, and the other circuses agreed to pull out if I was going to do it. So I was going to do it. So I went there, and I asked all the usual questions like, have we got a tent? And they said, no, we haven't got a tent. This is Malaysia. It's really quite warm. You don't need a tent. There's no need for a tent at all. I said, okay. So have we got an area? I said, no, but we can find you people to build it. That's all right. So it was all arranged, and I took over, I suppose, a dozen artists to be in this circus. I was a ridiculous ringmaster with a weird top hat and stuff, doing the stuff, trying to speak Malaysian. Malaysian is a really difficult language.
You speak it?
No.
Oh.
No, I learnt it kind of phonetically and then forgot it immediately. And actually, I've no idea what I ever said because I couldn't translate it. And so we planned it, and we built an arena, and we hired in chairs. And there were people who were being like so kind to us, amazingly kind, and they were saying, "Look, don't worry about it. We'll work out how much it's going to cost you later. Don't worry about any of it." And because I'm a naive little fella, I just accepted all that. And then we got to the first night, and the first night it didn't rain. It absolutely poured.
Wow.
And I said, "Is it going to be like this often?" Because we didn't have a roof or anything. And they said, and I was talking to the people in the hotel, and I said, "Is it going to be like?" And I said, "It's monsoon season. Of course it's going to be like this. It's going to be like this for the next 3 months, every night."
Oh my God.
I said, "Well, how am I going to make money out of it?" And they said, "What?" I said that we thought it was a bit strange that you're here, because the reason that we have this this kind of celebration time, or this season time, is that no one can work because it rains so much. So they can't work in the fields or anything. So having a circus now without a tent is ridiculous. So we ran it for a couple of weeks, and over the couple of weeks we probably only did 3 performances. And so
Oh no.
and I am paying all the people. The company is paying for all the people. The company is paying for the hotel rooms. We are losing money hand over fist, and we came to make money. And so then people started coming to me and saying, "You owe us money for the hire of the chairs. You owe us money for the construction of the arena. You owe us money for..." And they're all the same people. And I'm saying, and so I went to the airline office, and I said, "How much is it going to cost to fly us home?" And they said, "Oh, well, it's a bit difficult." And I said, "Why?" So, "Well, because you owe a lot of money to the mafia."
What?
The people who had been supplying us with stuff were all the Chinese mafia.
Oh my God.
And I said, this is silly. I don't know about this. What can we do?" And they said, "Well, if you really want to get out, we can take you, but you can't be seen to be leaving. So we'll take you out kind of in the middle of the night, and we'll fly you." So we kind of ran out of Malaysia.
Oh my God.
And I expect it's all been forgotten now. But
Right, yeah.
I don't think I'm going back to Malaysia. But
Oh my God.
And after that, we said, "That's it. Let's not do the circus anymore." So we folded it.
So Rob was right. You are wanted in a country.
Mm.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah, but not by the authorities.
Right. You're like a film Indiana Jones. That's pretty. Wow. So okay. Are you right with water, and
No, I'm
you're
fine.
a breaker, right?
I'm fine.
And
And this isn't too uncomfortable, so that's all right.
is it not?
No.
Oh, people say it's uncomfortable.
No.
I was right. So you finish circus. What next? I want you to get from circus to Winchester.
Right, that's quite simple. That's an easy one. So after the circus, not necessarily because of that, but for other reasons, my wife and I split up. I went to live on a houseboat in Chichester.
A houseboat?
Yeah.
Wow. Is that a longboat?
No.
Oh.
No. Actually, it was a badly constructed boat that was on the Chichester Canal. It was terribly cheap, but lots of fun.
Nice. How long did you live there for?
2 years, maybe.
Right. Oh. Okay.
So I'm in Chichester, and I've been thinking about this. I really can't remember how it happened, but someone contacted me and said, "Oh, I do remember how it happened." A friend of a friend said they're looking for someone to work on the film degree course at Chichester University. And I thought you might like to do it because you're not doing much, which I wasn't. And I had no idea what I would be doing. But I had a degree in film, and I've had some experience and so on. So I went and started working there, and the course leader was trying to get Chichester to do more practical work and wasn't getting very far. And then she moved to Winchester as course leader here and asked me if I would also move and start practical work in Winchester, because when I arrived here there was one tape-to-tape edit suite and that was it. There was no practical work for students at all. And so I came and I built up the practical area.
What year is this? What year did you start Winchester?
1999.
Wow.
Last century, as I keep saying.
Last century,
to
right.
people.
So you were on the houseboat like 97 to
97-ish.
97. Okay, so then to 99.
Yeah.
Joined Winchester.
Yeah.
And wow, so what was it like? So how had you seen it? It's quite amazing. So you've been here, so it's obviously changed.
Oh, yes.
Was the MMC still here?
Sorry?
Was the MMC?
No, this
Wow.
was the library.
Was it?
Yeah.
The MMC was a library?
Yeah.
Wow.
Was it? It was part of the library. Oh, it was a link. No, yeah. It's changed.
Wow.
We are sitting in what used to be the gents' loo.
You're joking.
No.
Are you serious?
Yeah, this used to be.
Oh my God.
My office was upstairs here. Yeah, and this used to be. Yeah.
Wow. That is weird.
Yeah, they got rid of the smell. It's good.
Yeah, right. No, I thought the smell's always here.
There have been lots of changes.
So what kind of films? So you do film production. It's weird that you don't do like radio production. What kind of film?
No, because I started here. There was no film production.
Oh, right.
When I started here, it was media studies with a practical element.
Right.
And I was teaching radio and I was teaching audio and that kind of stuff.
So someone asked me, what kind of films have you made? Have you made any films?
The only films I've made have been commercials and promotional films and training films. I've made no fiction films at all.
Or documentaries?
Not really. No.
Just all sound and radio and stuff.
Yeah.
So you started here.
Yeah.
And your wife is actually a tutor here, which I just found out today.
Yes. Well, I met
Really?
her here.
Wow. And what does she do?
She teaches in media and communications.
Wow.
I was going to say and English, but they're closing the English program. So yes, she's teaching in media and communications.
That's cool. So why have you ever thought of being a tutor when you came here? So,
Well, I came here as a tutor. I hadn't thought of being a tutor when I started.
Yeah. I was going to say.
I hadn't thought about it at all. Really.
And what's
well,
it?
I had to because I had been teaching
at the schools,
at schools, and in the community
centre
workshop.
Yeah,
and one of the reasons for going to university after that was that I was feeling like I was cheating a bit because I was teaching stuff and I didn't know what I was teaching.
Right.
I mean, I did, it turns out, but I wasn't sure that I did until I went and found out that I did.
Right.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah. And what's it like being a tutor here? What are the highlights of being a tutor? What do you enjoy about doing it? Oops.
Well, for me, the highlights are my team. The great highlights are the students. Students are lovely.
Still,
most of them.
Have you seen a progression in students like over the years? Have you seen?
Oh well, yes. In many ways, it's bloody annoying because they come here knowing much more than they used to. It's especially in technical terms.
Right.
You know,
okay. Yeah.
when I started teaching, everyone was absolutely terrified of holding a camera and had no idea about doing any kind of editing. And now people know what they're doing, and they come and want to hone their skills, which is lovely in many ways. Yeah.
What's your? I'm trying to find out more about your tutor kind of. What's the word? Like not progression, but like your fascination with being a tutor. What's like not your process? Well, that's a good idea actually. What's your day-to-day kind of thing? What's it like being a tutor? So I bet you come in, do you check Canvas? What's it like marking? Is it annoying hearing stupid ideas? What are kind of like standout stupid student moments? Stuff like that.
Slow down.
Stuff like that.
Okay. It's changed. Okay. So when I first started, being a tutor was very much seen as like being a profession as opposed to a job. And for me, the difference between a profession and a job is that a profession is basically your life. So you don't say, oh, it's 5 o'clock, I'm going to stop. What you say is, it's 5 o'clock and I will carry on with what is my life and do some more stuff. So you just immerse yourself in it, really. It's not something you can switch off. So yes, I mean I check my emails all the time. I don't check Canvas very much because that has a set routine. But I'm aware of what I'm doing all the time. Every time I watch something or see something, I'm thinking about what that would help me with in teaching, and what I can show my students, and what I can tell my students about what I've seen. Yeah, I think you don't switch off from it. I think that's so there isn't really a process because the whole thing is what I do.
Yeah, right. Okay, so, and you enjoy doing it?
Oh, if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I mean, it's as simple as that. You know, there are
very
easier ways to make money. It's not just
because you're very funny in class when someone would say a stupid thing or something, and you go, or you say funny stuff, and you and Fiona. I think you and Fiona's dynamic is brilliant in class first year. Was it like seeing? So tell me about like stupid student moments. So like, and also like not really debating with students, but like kind of communicating with the way, because some people go, do you feel like, oh, you know, students go, oh, Paul gave me a stupid note and it's crazy. How do you kind of deal with that?
Well, I don't.
You don't?
Frankly, because something which still I think is a fact is that students are really very nice and polite. So they don't tell me that I've given them a stupid note, and very rarely they even tell me that they disagree with me.
Yeah. And
I wish they would more, because I can take it. For God's sake, don't put that. Yeah, don't put that out. But I don't.
Well, yeah, that's film. That's film.
I'm just trying to think whether I've ever had a real argument with a student.
Well, not an argument, but like a silly student moment, because the one that comes to mind was my old lovely college tutor, and he was in his office, and this is an example, but it's real. A girl, one of the girl students came in and she started crying, and he said, "What's wrong?" He said, and he said one of the boys was playing around with a tripod, and the tripod had spikes. You can get tripods with little spikes at the end, and he was playing like a gladiator thing, and he all accidentally like stabbed one of the students right in the stomach, and it was like sort of blood kind of like poured out like this.
Okay.
And it got into the boy student got into a lot of trouble. But I'm not saying like something like that. But I wasn't there. That was just like 5-8 years ago before I arrived at college. But what is there a moment like that a student has done something silly, or like, you know, hung another student by its legs over a cliff to get a shot?
Okay. Nothing that I've been directly involved with.
Right.
But up until actually really kind of before COVID, we used to have an arrangement with a university in Japan.
Oh, wow.
And students used to go there for a semester. And for reasons which I've never quite understood, film production was chosen as the program that would send the most students. It was open to the whole of the media and film department, but most film production students went. And it was great, and I hope that maybe soon we'll be able to re-establish the connection, because it went wrong, obviously, when COVID came. And so they would go, and then when they came back, they'll have done tests and things in Japan, and so we would get marks from Japan. But we also required them to write about their time in Japan and what had happened and how they felt and all that kind of thing. I think partly as an academic exercise, but also partly because we want to know what's going on. And there was this group of 3 young male students who told us about the time they went up Mount Fuji.
Right.
Mount Fuji is a mountain.
Yeah.
It has snow on the top all year round, despite Japan being very warm. And they were wearing T-shirts.
Right.
And they climbed to the top of this mountain.
Yeah.
And were kind of desperate to get back because they were freezing. And literally people die on that mountain, and they made no preparation. They did no risk assessment. They did absolutely nothing. And they got away with it. But I did actually tell them off. Yeah, that's probably the only time I've ever told a student off. But that was outrageous.
Yeah.
Yeah, terrible.
Wow. But what's it like seeing films that are kind of like a combination of like, what do you see how students are doing? Do you feel like kind of proud students? And how do I rephrase this question? Are you proud of seeing students progress? And also, what are the kind of like really, how do you deal with like really, really bad student films, and how do you watch them? Because you have to watch them as a tutor.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
yeah, and we don't just watch films; we watch them over and over and over again. So yes, yeah, and watching bad student films is like, you know, having your teeth pulled.
Was it like being in that situation and have to give constructive notes?
Well, you've got to give constructive notes. Yes, that is kind of all right, because it depends. It depends immensely on the student. If the student has tried and has come up with something which isn't very good, that's kind of all right. It's especially all right if when they write about the film afterwards, they say, it's not very good, is it? Yeah. You know, like they know it's not very good. My problem, my real problem, is with students who make a film which isn't very good and they try to tell me that it's brilliant. Right?
Okay.
And that happens an awful lot.
Right.
The problem with film making is that because it is a creative process, it's not like constructing a wall, or it is a bit, you know, you've created it yourself. You've put an awful lot into it, And so you believe in what you've done. You've got to be able to step back and criticize it.
Yeah.
The most annoying thing
Yeah.
is when you work with someone as they're making the film and you say, wouldn't it be better if you did this? And they ignore you and they make a bad film and they tell you it's brilliant.
Right.
Right? Those students, yeah, I'm not going to say, but yeah, but that is the most annoying thing because, I don't believe I have ever criticised a film because they haven't made it the way that I wanted them to make it. But if I've made suggestions that I think they could improve their film by doing this or doing that or getting rid of this or bringing this in, and they don't do it, and remember that most film work is never marked by one person. We always have other people looking at the films. So it's not my resentment that's saying, this isn't right. It is actually being looked at people and saying, well, why didn't they do that? And I have to say, I told them to do that.
Anything like before we get on to like film-esque questions, is there anything that you enjoy about your job and seeing students progress? And
I love it. I love seeing students progress. I love, the premiere that we go to at the end of the year. I love seeing students happy. I don't get arrested, Paul. I was going to say I like young people. It's not like that. No, I get a lot of inspiration from young people. I get a lot of enjoyment by working with young people. I'm not absolutely sure what young people get from me, but it seems to work. So yeah, it's good and it is enjoyable. And more often than not, I go home happy after a day's work.
Even seeing a bad film.
Yeah, because, for every bad film, there's a good film.
Yeah, that's true.
And if the bad film makers know what they've done wrong, they won't make a bad film the next time around.
So you enjoyed the premiere. Was there any highlights from the premiere that you remember?
What, this year's?
Yeah, the one we just had about 3 weeks ago or something.
Yeah, well, there's obviously the DuPont thing.
Oh, that was good, yeah. Alex's documentary.
Yeah, that was really
good.
Quite something.
That was powerful, yeah.
Yeah. I would have hoped there was something more that could have been done with it, and I hope they're rethinking it a bit.
What tutor? Because each tutor has a film they have to oversee. What were your films you had to oversee?
Mine was I only did one. I mean, every film has a supervisor, and then there's a double mark with another supervisor. My film was Alternation.
The spy-esque film.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that was good.
It was very pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So moving on from your job at Winchester, something that you are a part of, and these are kind of like a few film questions. You are are you the founder of Winchester Film Festival?
No.
You're not.
No.
What's your tell me about how you got involved in that, and then what's your kind of like fascination with co-running a film festival?
Right. Well, the film festival started now about 11 or 12 years ago, and it was run by a guy called John Hayes, who's a kind of moving person in a mover and shaker in Winchester, and he's a great guy, and he knows everyone, and so he started this film festival, and he was asking for judges to judge the films, and he came here and asked if anyone was interested, and I was, and I got more and more involved. And then I started presenting the screenings and being more involved in it, and it's a great thing. It's good for the students here, but it's fantastic actually for the city.
Yeah.
And it does a couple of things which are very important. Firstly, it shows the city that what our students do, because our students work on the film festival very effectively and very well. It shows the students what short films are like, because one of the issues is that students don't really have a lot of access to short narrative films. They have access, obviously, to short docs and that kind of thing, and YouTube stuff. But narrative drama in short films they don't have a lot of access to. And so they feel that when we ask them to make those short films, because it's all we can do, we can't, in your first year, make a feature film is absolutely ridiculous. So you've got to make a short film. And what the film festival does is it kind of puts that into context and shows you that other people are making short drama films. So that's quite important. And it brings the people of Winchester together a bit, which is nice.
Yeah. So what's your job? So your role is you help co-run it?
Oh, well, I didn't have a title, and I got fed up with people saying, it's that bloke from the film festival. So I said, I know I didn't say, I just decided that I would be an associate director, which means absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to help out. I've done it. I think I did it in my first year, and it was nice to get. And it's also like a nice meeting place for other students to meet each other, which is nice. And it's a nice little thing to do. Are you still working on it still?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, anything else like film-wise that you've done, like a film festival, but anything you've been involved in still that you're working on? No,
you've got enough of what I've done. No.
I don't know. Are you working on anything at the moment?
No.
Would you like to work on anything at the moment?
Sorry?
Would you like to make on any films? Would you like to make more films yourself?
I will be, because because over the summer we've got to make some new material for editing, for example. We're going to shoot a couple of films to do stuff for that.
Who you?
Yeah.
With who?
With Fiona and Rob, I expect.
What, over the summer?
Yeah.
What part of wait on, are you?
No, hold on. Do you remember?
Right.
In your second year, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just finishing.
Yeah. So, in your editing. Stuff. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. You did a montage edit. No, you
yes,
did.
over time. The wolf one. Oh, the montage.
Yeah. No, yes. You did it. You did it where there was an interview.
Oh, yeah. The interview, with the lady.
Yeah. That lady's my wife.
You're joking. Oh, my God. Are you serious? Oh, my God. I studied her face and her voice for So, are you serious?
Yes.
Because you were interviewing her.
Yes.
But no, oh, my God.
And we set that up as you had material to edit. That was the whole point.
Right.
And now we're thinking
of reshooting.
Well, she's thinking actually that she doesn't like it anymore. So we're going to do a new one, and we're going to do stuff like that.
I'm sorry, I got very annoyed. I get annoyed with editing stuff over and over and over again, and I just said I don't want to see that. Nothing. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, like I got sick of it, and I was like, I can't. Wow, that's incredible. I didn't know that. Wow. Well, Fiona didn't tell me that at all when we were editing it.
No.
Wow, that's naughty. Anyway, but moving on to film. So I've got a few more film questions.
Okay.
And then we've got to film. A few more film questions about film in general, and then audience questions that have asked me, and there's a few, and then I've got quick fire questions, which are going to be quick. So, with film in general? What what interests you about film in general, like the power of it? What's your fascination with it, and why do you think it's important still? And
Well, it is a vital medium. I'm kind of looking forward to sorry, I'm thinking of I'm formulating the answer.
okay,
Right. The thing is that I find film fascinating. And I find it fascinating in some really stupid ways, because I find it fascinating that it kind of doesn't exist.
it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Oh right, film. All right, yeah.
Because when you watch a film, the stuff that you're watching is actually less than the time of the film, because you're getting a 50th of a second flash of a film, or a 25th of a second flash of a film, but then that's every 25 seconds. So there is actually more time spent not filming than there is filming, which is ridiculous, right? So if you kind of sat down and worked it out, that's mad. But it's not just that. It is the way in which film can manipulate. I mean, the greatest thing about filming, in my opinion, is the editing. The way it can manipulate time, and the way it can manipulate space. You can make it so that you walk out of a door and you can be anywhere in the world, or anywhere on any world. You know, the way that you can bring ridiculous ideas to people. It's all on the power of film. I mean, film and television, they're almost inseparable now, because high-end TV is film. So there's the magic of that, but there's also the cultural influence of it. And, you know, film can bring people together. It can separate people. It's changing like crazy at the moment. I think we've got to worry a bit about that. But the power of it is... See, that's the way you put the question, because you said, what did I think was the power of it?
Yeah.
And what I think of the power of it is that it's so powerful.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Yes.
It is such an influential medium. It's, you know, it is more powerful than writing now, I think.
Do you think it's more powerful still, or do you think it was more powerful in the past?
Well, see, I am not removing film from video. I'm not saying that the only thing I'm talking about is film that you go to the cinema to watch, because I really very rarely go to the cinema now.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm that's terrible of me, but I tend to get everything on TV now.
Yeah.
Or on a screen.
Yeah.
So I'm not, when I talk about the making of film, I'm talking about maybe probably high-end TV, but I'm talking about images and sound combined to make a medium, as opposed to.
What are your thoughts about the film industry now? So this is quite a broad question. So is it getting better? Is it getting better? Is it getting worse? Or is it also industry like, are people forgetting how film is powerful now? Basically, when I look back, because, you know, I'm obviously born in the 60s as well, I look at like Jeremy Paxman and you know, Panorama, in those kind of days, and also films were kind of like, ideas were original then. And do you think it's and again, it's a very difficult question, like the AI and people's opinions and all that kind of stuff. What are your opinions on is it getting better or worse? Basically, is it getting? It's basically. Sorry, there's a lot of questions in that. Sorry, I'm not very good at this. Is it getting better or worse?
No, you're too bloody good at it.
Oh,
No, I mean, what you've done is you know, like we could sit here all day and talk.
yeah.
So I'm not going to. I don't think it's getting as bad as people like to pretend it is.
Right.
I don't think that. I think there are genuine issues. Like, I know you're going to ask me a quick question about Marvel or DC.
Yes.
And the, you know, that stuff has gone a long way to kill film.
Right.
And, you know, last year, the Barbieheimer stuff was amusing. But I think we've got to try to break away a bit from film as marketing, film as business, and bring it back into film as art and film as creativity.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And there is still scope for marketing, but I don't know. I don't think. I think the film industry has got itself into a bit of a mess, and it's partly because of conglomeration. So Disney has bought up absolutely everything, and it's very difficult to get funding for film. Making film is ridiculously expensive, and it doesn't have to be. I mean, the problem is that when someone like Disney makes a film, they make it at such a ridiculously high standard that anyone trying to make a film under that standard just looks silly. And the film can have tremendous cultural value, but people will look at it and say, I don't watch it, you know, I didn't watch it because it didn't look very good.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? And it's strange because we think of our viewership, our viewers, as being better educated and more critical. And I think they probably are, but I don't think they are culturally more critical.
Right. And the thing that troubles me is, is the BBC and how the BBC is kind of under attack, in my opinion. Unfortunately, the BBC does have many bad eggs, but I'm not talking about the people within the BBC. I'm talking about the whole idea of it is that it's kind of like it's try and stretch out for everyone. Do you know what I mean by that? And it's also run by, you know, the taxpayer. And do you feel like I'm quite worried the BBC is going to die soon? Are you quite worried about that at all?
It's a genuine problem, and the problem stems from the success of the BBC. In my opinion, this is all my opinion. I mean, I'm just making this up as I go along. You know that.
That's all right.
Look, BBC was the first national broadcaster because at the time and for many, many years, the government was so scared of the power of broadcasting that it decided that it would find its own ways of controlling it. And the way that it controlled it was that it gave it a royal warrant to carry out, and it's renewable every 10 years, I think. And that it would be funded by a license fee, which the government would collect. I don't think they do anymore, but so that there would be certain controls over it. And the license fee is a genuine problem.
Yeah.
Because if you talk to people who, frankly, don't know what they're talking about, and you say to them, well, what other funding opportunities are there? And they will say, oh, we should make it subscription.
Yeah.
You can't.
Mm.
You simply technically can't make it subscription as it stands. And the reason you can't do that is because if someone doesn't pay their subscription, there's no way of switching it off.
Yeah.
It comes through your aerial, whether you've paid for it or not. And other people would say, oh, well, they should take advertising.
Right.
But the people who are desperately against the BBC taking advertising are ITV and Channel 4, because they would take their advertising. People who are advertising have only got one pot of money.
Yeah.
And they will put it where it's going to be most successful. And being associated with the BBC is much better, actually, than being associated with Channel 4 or Channel 5. So you can't do it like that. What went wrong, in my opinion, again, was when we did the changeover from analog to digital, we didn't put into those boxes a way of ensuring that a feed was paid for.
Okay.
Everything was trying to keep, the digital switchover was absolutely crazy because people were worried about it. Like, oh, what, we've got to have a new aerial. You didn't have to have a new aerial. Oh, we've got to have a box. Yeah, you've got to have a box, but it's 20 quid. If at that point they said, we're going to put something in it that will stop BBC signals or will stop ITV signals or would do that, then there would be no problem here. But they haven't done that. And now, because we are worried about upsetting people, particularly old people. Don't like old people. Particularly old people. For example, we still have 4.3, 4.3 TV.
Oh, yeah.
We still have 4.3 safe areas on television. So when you see things like football scores and that kind of thing, they're over inside the screen a bit because that would fit on a 4.3 screen. And they've got to make allowances for people to have 4.3. This is madness. Go and buy a new bloody television. This stuff is crazy. We are scared of saying we could just put together a fund and say, look, we will buy people new equipment if it's necessary. But, people like us, and I genuinely mean people like you, forget or have a lack of understanding of how many people there are who don't know how to work things.
Right. I don't know how to work things sometimes.
Hmm?
I don't know how to work things sometimes.
No, I don't know how to work things sometimes. But we forget how many people don't have mobile phones, don't have the
Oh,
access to
right.
this,
I see.
don't have, it may be a small percentage, but it's still a quite large number of people who don't have access to the internet.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the big change to the BBC will come when we only have internet access to broadcasting.
Right.
And until then, we've got to find a way of continuing to fund it.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll have more sensible people in government soon.
Yes. But the thing that annoys me is that people keep saying that the BBC is biased, but again, it's not. I think it's run by Ofcom. Is that right? Yeah,
it's not run by Ofcom. It's
not right. No,
seen by Ofcom. It runs its own complaints organisation.
Yeah,
it has its own complaints.
Yeah,
but there is another level of complaining to Ofcom about the BBC complaints, and basically Ofcom look to see if they have done the complaint system properly.
Oh, right.
So yes, there's very little the Ofcom can do to the BBC if the BBC get it wrong, but the BBC don't often get it wrong.
Yeah, but they do a job where they report news, and then they report it in my opinion, the right way. But then they get both sides of each story equally.
Mm.
So they're like a judge in a courtroom. That's how I see it. Is that they have both sides and they make sure that they report and they're not allowed. Is that right? They're not allowed to report fake stuff.
No.
Yeah. So I don't understand why people keep saying that there's a problem.
Because
That's my thing. I don't understand if the BBC's run by rules where they have to report fair stuff, why are people saying that it's all this?
Because if
bias?
If you think that something is really silly or is really wrong, and the BBC aren't reporting it as being silly or wrong, but just actually reporting it factually,
Yeah.
then you will think they are biased against your opinion.
Right.
If you're quite right that they do try to report both sides of everything.
Yeah.
But, there are people who will sit and time the amount they spend on one side rather than the other.
They time it.
Yeah. And they say, you gave more time to that argument than you gave to that argument, and therefore you are biased in favour of that argument.
Right.
Or they may have a belief in something which is frankly wrong, and the BBC don't report it because the BBC likes to believe in good.
Yeah. And again, BBC do have some bad eggs. I do. Like the Martin Bashir thing was awful.
Oh, yeah, but the BBC is an enormous organisation.
Yeah.
If it didn't have bad eggs, you would really wonder where they get all their people from.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it's got bad eggs.
Yeah.
And
also again, documentaries. Do you think documentaries are going in the right direction as well? Just quickly before we move on, do you think documentaries are?
Before we move on,
yeah.
You know that Martin Bashir went to this college. This as a college before it became a university.
What? Winchester University?
Yeah.
You serious?
Yeah.
Oh my god. And were you there? No.
No,
Wow, that's amazing. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's incredible. Wow, there's a lot of facts. Yeah, I need to ask you a lot more. Yeah, I hope I don't regret watching this and going, oh god, I should have asked him this. What was I saying again? I forgot what I was saying. Documentaries. Do you? I love really good, powerful documentaries that get people thinking. Do you think documentaries are going the right way and the wrong way? Channel 4 do some good documentaries.
Oh yeah, I think they're going the right way. I think
Okay.
I think they are getting braver and braver, and I think that's an important thing. You don't have to go back very long to a point where people were frightened of upsetting people.
Yeah.
And now I think they're getting stronger and saying, this is the right, this is what we're doing. And I think that's what the BBC's doing. And
Yeah.
the people who it's upsetting and the people who want to do bad things are against it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. The thing that troubles me is that I'm worried for documentaries because there's some really good, powerful documentaries. Alex's one at the premiere was just absolutely amazing. But I'm worried for. I love the documentary Tiger King. Did you watch Tiger King on Netflix?
Yeah.
It's a good documentary, but there seems to be this kind of trend with it's a great documentary Tiger King, but there seems to be kind of trend of like docu. You know what I mean by that? Docu-series. There seems to be this kind of like cushy. Do you know what I mean? Cushy documentaries. If you know what I mean by that. Not like really kind of like hard, like Michael Moore kind of.
Well, there's two things about that. I think one is I have a very strong belief that you shouldn't be making a documentary if you haven't got a story.
Right.
So you may have an event, but if you haven't got a story, then there's no documentary. what you do is you report on an event. You make a documentary about a story. So you've got to have a story. The other thing is, and it is Netflix's fault, but it is the fault of, and we've got to make 6 episodes out of this, or we've got to make 12, or Netflix is responsible for an awful lot of ills and things I hate. So I really.
We can move on.
Do you remember Lost?
Oh yeah, well the show Lost.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it. Yeah.
Well, I started to watch Lost. Weirdly, I saw the first episode. You know, it's about people crashing a plane.
Yeah, and they get lost. Yeah.
Right. Weirdly, I actually started to watch it on a plane flying over the Atlantic. Which I don't know, why do they put films like that on a plane? And I wanted it to end, and it didn't end, and then suddenly they had this awful ending that they put on because we're still getting people to watch, so we'll extend it because we haven't got any other ideas.
Yeah.
I was watching a drama series last week, and it was 6 episodes, and at least 2 of the episodes were just saying, well, let's do a bit more because we've got to get 6 episodes out. And they just stretch things out.
Yeah.
So stuff like Tiger King was
actually, Tiger King was good. Actually, thinking about it.
Was that not what you're talking about? You're talking about something else. Tiger King.
Tiger King. It was on Netflix. It's very, very good. Actually, I love it. But there seems to be. No, but there seems to be like documentaries on silly stuff.
Yes, because people are hungry for ideas without having good ideas. They don't do. It just goes on and on and on because they've got to fill these 6 episodes or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of them could make quite an interesting 1 episode, 45-minute documentary. And someone says, "Wow, let's make 6."
Yeah.
It's not good. Yeah. It's not good.
No. But yeah, I was spoon fed on documentaries.
Good.
Yeah.
I love your
parents. Like intellectual, like hard hitting stuff.
Every child should be.
I know, but I was raised more.
Yeah,
more than others. So just quickly before we get into one question and then.
Yeah.
Tips on the industry. Do you have any? Actually, no, we should leave that question later. Actually, I'll leave that question later.
Okay.
Last question before we get on to audience questions, which are about 5 audience questions and quick 5 questions. Do you have in the world? Do you have like an issue that you think that needs to be addressed more? A serious issue. It could be anything, but is there something you're passionate about that you think needs to be addressed?
I don't know. I'm passionate about it. I think it's something that really annoys me. And that is, where's the money?
Where's the money for?
No, just where's the money?
For the government?
Not just the government. I'm not particularly money orientated. That's not what's worrying me. I was watching a thing the other day about the elections in India, and it was an American program, and they were talking about how poor people in India are, but how popular Modi as Prime Minister is, and he's just been re-elected. And they showed that they were sending sacks of rice out to poor people, and they were feeding poor people. And the poor people were voting for him because they were feeding him, and it was fantastic. And these sacks of rice had printed a picture of him on it. And they were saying, so people are doing better. But the discrepancy, the difference between the poor people and the rich people in India is absolutely enormous.
Wow.
And I can't remember the percentage, but it's something like 80% of the wealth of the whole of the country is owned by 1% of the people.
Oh my God.
There are loads of billionaires in India who could solve the problem of India overnight. Jeff Bezos could solve most of the problems in the world overnight. The oil companies could solve most of climate change overnight. You know, we are apparently being taxed at the highest level since 1940s or something. But we're not seeing any of that money. The NHS is running out of money. The roads are awful. But look, we've got more billionaires than we've ever had.
Yeah.
It's all being siphoned into other people's pockets. And it's dividing nations. It's really causing a problem. So all this money is flowing around, but it's going in the wrong places.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, it's not just governments, it's private companies that come in and take over another company and just strip its assets and take its assets and don't do anything for the company.
Mm.
So, follow the money. That's where is the money going?
Yeah. It makes me angry with the NHS and they don't get enough money.
Yeah.
It makes me so angry.
Well, it's outrageous.
Yeah. And the nurses and stuff.
Yeah.
They didn't get anything. Well, yeah, that does make me really annoyed. It's just... it seems everything seems to be getting more expensive and people are working more for less pay.
Yeah.
So...
And something people don't think about is every time something gets more expensive, it means the government are getting more on the VAT.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, VAT is a percentage of the price, isn't it?
Oh, so the government's getting more.
So if something goes up in price, the government get more money.
No.
Sorry.
Well, great. Well, thanks for that. Yes, but you're a very intelligent person.
I don't think so.
Yes, you are. We should sit down at the pub next time and have a proper, in detail conversation.
Okay, but it's your round.
Right. Oh, what? No. Yeah, it's so expensive. Pints at the pub.
VAT.
Yeah. Oh God. There we go. We're funding the government whilst we're having a conversation about it. So there are some. Right. So I put on my Instagram story that you were coming on the show, and a lot of people. And there's a bit where people can type in questions to ask Paul. So I've got a few questions that people wanted to ask me.
When you say a lot, you mean 3, yeah? Right.
No, I got about 8. I got 8. That's quite a few. And people have said stuff. Okay, so these are audience questions that the people have sent me. So an anonymous person said, I think you know who it might be. What is your favourite program leader? Film program leader.
Well, I expect that was Rob.
It was actually, yeah.
and seriously, he is. And seriously, he's the best program leader I've known since I've been in teaching. So, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that includes me because I was a program leader.
Oh, right.
So, yeah.
Why don't you just say you and then Rob was second?
No.
Oh, okay. This is my one. What's kind of your favourite tutor? What's your favourite tutor out of the 4? Jake, Fiona, Rob, Julio.
I don't have favourites
okay,
like that.
The Titanic is sinking.
But
the boat has 1 seat. You've got to pick one out of the 4.
No, I can't do that. No.
Can't do it?
No. I mean, Rob and I have been mates for a while, so but no, it's difficult.
Do you have any early Rob Ferren stories that you could tell us quickly?
No.
You can't remember anything. Was he a rogue? Was he
He was okay.
Was he?
Yeah, but he didn't kind of put his head above the parapet very much. So he wasn't very noticeable as a student.
Oh, right. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, the question was, where have you gone on your private yacht? Do you have a private yacht? Was that the boat you were mentioning earlier?
No. This is This is Rob Ferret again.
No. Actually, this was a guy called Joel.
Yeah, but he's heard it from Rob Ferret.
Oh, okay.
Rob says that the way we spend our summers is that he works like crazy on the program, and I go off on my private yacht. But I don't have a private yacht.
Right.
And I don't have a house in the south of France. I've never been to Barbados.
The other one was what kind of lessons do you learn from owning a circus that can be applied to filmmaking?
Well, there are quite a few actually, but I'm not suggesting anyone goes and works in a circus to make it happen. But things like organisation and risk assessment and working bloody hard to make sure something happens. That's all there. I did discover working for a circus that if you wanted to hide something, so if you wanted to keep your equipment safe or something like that, the very best place to keep it was the lion's cage.
Lion's cage.
Because
Okay.
no one's going to break into a lion's cage.
Nice. Is that how your house is made? Lion cages?
No.
To keep your stuff.
No, I mean, they are both ways of trying to make money out of entertaining people, so that's quite interesting. So work to the audience, I think, is an important thing.
Do you think you're going to DJ again?
No.
Okay. Would you like to?
No.
Oh, okay. So I'm not inviting you to my birthday party to DJ for me?
No.
Okay.
I'll come to your birthday party, but I won't.
Oh, really? Would you? In High Wycombe?
Maybe.
But a lot of people have asked me how old you are. Do you want to say how old you are?
I'm 71. I don't have a problem.
You're 70. You're 71.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm incredibly old.
A lot of people have said other numbers. But
What numbers have they said?
I'm not going to confirm. I'm going to be a politician and say no comment.
Hopefully younger. I don't know.
Hopefully younger. Okay. Okay. Rumors going round. Again, you could cut this out if you want to. Rumors going round. Are you thinking about retiring anytime soon?
Yeah.
When?
Probably next year. I don't know.
Oh, so next year might be your last year.
Mm.
Oh my God, I'm so honoured.
Yeah, and I'm 71. So, like, how long am I meant to go on for?
Oh right, yeah.
You
Have
know,
you thought
I
about
mean,
what
I
you're
should
gonna?
have retired 6-7 years ago, but yeah.
Right. Well, my year's my last year next year, so I feel quite honoured to be part of your last year.
Well, I'm semi-retired now. I only work
Are
2
you?
days a week.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh wow. Okay.
That's why I don't turn up to as many things as I should.
Oh. Have you thought about what you're going to do when you're retired? Are you going to go travelling at all?
No.
No. What are you thinking about doing?
No, I haven't. I would do a lot of what I'm doing now, which is like, I research early film, so I'll do a lot more of that. I'll watch an awful lot of TV and film. No, it'd be fine. Don't worry about me.
Okay.
I'll be all right.
Would you come back and visit?
If invited, I won't come back and visit unless I'm welcome.
Oh, okay. Would you like a party when you retire here?
I'll be quite honest that I was going to retire this year. I was going to make this year my last year. But I decided, and I wasn't going to tell anyone. Right?
Sorry.
So kind of a secret. I've decided to carry on for another year, so I'll carry on with do that. But I really, really don't want to make a big thing of it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to make a big thing of it.
Okay. You probably won't have the choice.
Oh God, I hate surprise parties.
Not surprise parties, but and last one is a very, very good friend of mine who I love, and I'm sure you love him as well. Your opinions on Rob Griffiths. Rob is a big fan of the show, and he said, "What's your? Do you have any opinions on Rob Griffiths at all?"
Rob asked the question, "Do I have any?"
Well, I just put Rob Griffiths on question mark.
Yeah, but he asked the question, didn't he?
Yeah, he just said Rob Griffiths question mark.
Oh right, okay.
So what are your
Well,
opinions
that's
on?
enigmatic. That's quite nice. Yeah, I think Rob Griffiths question mark is probably the answer to the question. You love Rob, I love Rob, everyone loves Rob, and I mean, he brightens my day. He has the most amazing tasting clothes.
Yeah.
And no, it's difficult because you're not meant to have favourites and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I wouldn't say he's a favourite, but he's kind of up there a bit. And I really like and appreciate all of my students. Can't think of a student I don't like.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
No, you got me thinking now.
Okay. But yeah, Rob's very talented, and Rob wanted you to be on the show badly, and was very, very excited for you to be on the show.
He's terribly keen, and what he does is he puts over an attitude of being keen on life.
Definitely, yeah.
And that I think is an important thing for a young man. So I think he's great.
Yeah, he is great. Yeah,
yep.
Yeah, very, very good guy, and he knows everyone, and he's very hardworking as well. Very hardworking. Yeah, I adore Rob. So those are the kind of questions that audience have asked. Now it's time for quick fire questions. Right. Favorite film of last year?
Barbie.
Yeah. Wow. Really?
Hmm.
Wow. Why Barbie?
Because it was different and actually quite brave. And creative.
Creative.
Yeah, genuinely creative.
Nice. I love Barbie. My mum loves it as well. Favorite film of all time?
Okay, I can't do one. That's not fair.
Okay, you can list a few if you want.
I've probably got three. So one would be a film called Sunrise, which, as a film student, I think is important that you see. It's a film from 1927, silent film by F.W. Murnau. Is absolutely stunning, taking into account, which we have to do, the lack of technical expertise that they had. I'll give you an example. Sorry, I know these are quick fire questions.
Yeah, that's all right. No.
Give you an example. There is a sequence in the film where a man is meeting a woman in kind of reeds by the side of a river. And he just walks. He climbs over a fence and he walks around and he ends up meeting her. And it's stupid because he actually walks around in a circle a bit. But it tracks completely. And you think, well, how have they done that? Because they didn't have Steadicam. They didn't have anything. And what they did was they built a track in the ceiling of the studio and hung the camera upside down from the ceiling and tracked around this scene. That's the kind of technique that they were putting in that at that time. So that's one.
That's one.
Sunrise. The other is where we go. The Conversation.
Is that with Gene Hackman? I haven't seen that. Yeah.
Mainly for its sound design. But it is a fantastic film. It is about sound and its misuse as much as anything. Just a fantastic film. That's Francis Ford Coppola.
think Harrison Ford was in that.
Sorry?
I think Harrison Ford was in that film. Conversation.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I'm torn. BBC put The Prestige on last week, and I said,
right.
it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I like that, and that's when Anthony Nolan was sane. And then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I love that film.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful film, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Favorite filmmaker? Rob Ferrin.
No. Tarantino or Hitchcock.
Hitchcock. Oh, nice. Favorite actor?
Don't like actors.
Really?
Mm.
Why?
Well, a couple of reasons. One, because if they're doing their job, I wouldn't know that they were acting in it. And I mean that quite seriously. You will remember that I told you that I had, when we first met in class, I told you that I can't recognise faces.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether that actor is the same actor as, watching films with me is a real issue. My wife goes through hell because I say, is that the same person who was in the last scene? Because I can't recognise the faces. If I do recognise someone's face, which is quite unusual, then that's an actor. I don't want them to be an actor. I want them to be a character. And that's their actual job. It's in the job description to pretend to be someone else. And if they're not pretending to be someone else, and I couldn't give a damn for all the, star publicity and stuff. So no, don't like actors.
What about Al Pacino or Harrison Ford? No?
No, I know of them, but no, I wouldn't compare their acting. Wouldn't say I have a favourite. And people who have favourite actors, it's not because of the way in which they act.
Well, yes, it's not of both.
No, I don't believe it.
I love Al Pacino. I fell in love with him watching Dog Day Afternoon.
Yeah, Dog Day Afternoon is a fantastic film. Yeah.
Favorite TV show?
Taskmaster, I suppose.
Really?
Yeah.
That's my best friend Hope's favourite show.
Right. And Inside Number 9.
Right. Is that with is that Toby? Not Toby Jones.
No, Steve Pemberton and
Yeah. I can. Is it? Yeah.
the people from League of Gentlemen.
Yes. I need to watch Inside Number 9. I've heard that's popular.
You've got to watch it. You've got to watch
it.
the episode, which is entirely filmed on a video doorbell.
An episode filmed on a doorbell.
The whole program, the whole 30-minute show.
Oh right.
Is just filmed from a video doorbell.
For a second, I thought you meant the whole series. I was like,
no.
Okay.
No.
Favorite documentary?
Bowling for Columbine.
Bowling for Columbine.
Michael Moore.
Michael Moore. Right. Yeah.
Michael Moore's first big hit.
Right. I like Michael Moore. I don't know. The thing is, I don't know names and I don't like music. I've struggled with like artists and songs. I know the artist very well. I know the song very well, but I don't know how to match them up. Right. Speaking of songs, favorite song that you could listen to forever. Come on, you're a DJ.
Yeah, but I want to go to kind of two different ends of the spectrum of music. I think one would be Small Town Boy by Bronski Beat.
Nice.
And the other would be Sultans of Swing by Dire Straits.
Cool. Right. So you're not like a music fanatic at all then? At all?
No. I haven't.
Do you still listen to music?
Yeah. But not as much as I used to, of course. But yeah. I mean, I like music, but I'm not a fanatic. No.
If you could be a person for a day, who would it be?
I don't know. I find that really difficult.
Rob Griffiths.
No, no. I mean that's kind of tempting.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be. I was just about to say it would be interesting to get inside his head, but I think that would be the most frightening thing in the world. Who would I like to be? Who would I like to... See, there's no one I want to change places with.
Just for a day. Doesn't have to be forever. No?
No, I can't.
Politician? Politician? Trump? The Queen?
I certainly wouldn't want to be Trump. And the Queen's dead, so that wouldn't work.
It could be living or dead.
Living or dead. Oh, okay. I suppose to try to understand them. Now, this is really dangerous, okay?
Right.
Because to understand, because, you know, I would really, really like to understand, for example, Adolf Hitler.
Right.
But if you're going to say, Paul Carter said on my podcast that he wants to be Adolf Hitler for a day,
right,
then I'm not having that.
Okay.
But yeah, someone I want to understand because I just don't get them at all.
Yeah.
So
okay.
actually maybe Trump.
All right.
Yeah, you know, because I don't understand what the hell he's about.
I know. I don't think anyone does or will ever. Okay, this is an interesting question. Childhood celebrity crush or celebrity crush? So it could be a childhood celebrity crush or it could be a celebrity crush that you've had.
Right, well, I've said I'm not very up on celebrities. I'm not very up on the celebrity industry. I'm sorry. I was trying to think back into my deep and distant past, and I can't think of childhood crushes. I don't think I had. I did have a crush, and God, I find the whole concept of crushes quite weird. So
that's why it's a strange.
So
question.
forgive me for this. There is a TV presenter who started off on a program with God, what's his name? With a record producer whose name I can't remember. And the program is called Hitman and Her. And she disappeared for quite a long time and then came back doing doing good natural history programs. Michaela Strachan.
No, I don't know who she is. I'll Google her later.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, yeah, see if you can find an excerpt of Hitman and Her when she's on it.
Okay.
Because that'd be fun.
Cool. See, the next question is secret talent or unknown fact people don't know about you.
I don't have any talents at all.
No?
No.
Not an instrument?
No, I can't play anything. I can't write properly.
Sport?
I can't sing. I have no sporting ability whatsoever. I once volunteered a long time ago to go and play badminton. And we were there for probably 2 hours. I never hit the shuttlecock once. I mean, it is absolutely embarrassing. No, I don't think I have. I can't think of anything.
What about a secret talent? Oh, no, not secret talent. Secret, unknown fact about people don't know about you, like a little thing.
No, I've told you everything.
That's pretty much,
me.
yeah.
There is nothing I could. I should have kept. I'm wanted by the Chinese mafia for that one.
Yeah, you should have.
Yeah.
What is something that you have that you need to throw out?
Okay. I collect cables.
You collect cables?
Yeah.
What, on a shelf?
Oh God, no!
You just gain a lot of cables.
I don't collect them on a shelf. I have got bags and bags and bags and bags of cables.
Right.
Connecting cables,
Yeah.
of microphone cables and headphone cables and mains cables and weird cables that I'll never use again. And every time I throw one out, the next week I need it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay. What keeps you up at night?
Very little. I sleep soundly. I don't think anything is kind of worth losing sleep over. I don't have... I'm a fatalist. I don't have a worry about the future. I don't think worrying about something helps it at all. I think going out and doing something about it is likely to help. But I don't really worry. So I don't have anything that really keeps me awake at night.
Look, marking?
Oh, that keeps me up. It doesn't keep me awake. No, when I move away from my desk and I'm not marking anymore, I'm not worried about the marking. I mean, I'm assuming this from your question is it's what worries you.
Yeah. Sort of, yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing? Well, good. I worry about everything.
If it's going to happen, it's going to happen, And if it's something you don't want to happen, bloody do something about it. Apart from that, if you can't, I'm really quite worried about the world.
Yeah.
But I'm also aware there's damn all I can do about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Window or aisle on a plane?
Aisle.
Aisle. Right. Not window?
No, I've seen it.
Cats or dogs?
Well, dogs, but don't tell my cat.
Do you have a dog and a cat?
I've got 2 dogs and a cat.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. If you time traveled, where would you go?
Right, there are particular rules about time travel.
I think everyone knows, yeah.
And one of them is that you can't go and meet yourself.
Yeah.
So I want to break that rule. Seriously, if I could time travel, I would go back and find myself.
So you wouldn't want to go and see yourself at all?
Yes. I
What
mean,
about like ancient times and stuff?
No. And I want to do something useful. And this is for me, right?
Yeah.
So if I could time travel, I would, with apologies to Douglas Adams because he wrote the rules on time travel, but if I could time travel, I would want to go back and see myself when I'm like 16 or 17.
Right.
Simply to tell myself that it's all going to be all right. Because it has been.
Nice. Yeah, I'd like to do that as well. Well, because I worry a lot. I worry about the cameras as well. I worry about everything. Setting up this. Favorite word?
Verisimilitude.
What does that mean?
It's the belief in a story. You can believe what's going on the screen.
Oh, right.
That you enter into the story world of the verisimilitude of what's happening on the screen. And if something happens which doesn't fit within your verisimilitude because you create that as you watch it, then it breaks it and everything goes wrong. Let me give you an example.
Right.
Okay, so we both like Barbie.
Yeah.
And so how mad was that we believed that these dolls were alive and they were doing it. And we entered into it and we believed it and we enjoyed the film and that was great, But if one of them suddenly started, I don't know, flying or something, you'd say, well, why are they doing that? And that would break the verisimilitude. And you say, well, that's not real.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know, Barbie being standing there and talking and stuff, that's real, but no, not her flying. No, that's she hadn't got wings. So that's breaking the very similitude.
Interesting.
It's a good word. Use
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I will. Yeah. Guilty pleasure.
My guilty pleasure is watching YouTube videos about,
Yeah.
well, YouTube videos which debunk flat earthers.
Ah, right. What? Just people that believe in, or like people like that. People like.
No, I mean, it is almost entirely just that. Sometimes I look at things which, there are other kind of non-scientific things which they debunk. You know.
Yeah. There's a lot of those videos.
Sorry.
There's a lot of it. Wow.
There is a surprising amount. Yes.
And you've watched all of them.
Make them well, they're making them regularly, so there's always a new one. Yeah.
Favorite superhero.
Danger Mouse.
Danger Mouse. Right. Is that a superhero?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. DC or Marvel?
Neither. They have both ruined the film industry.
Right. Okay. We already talked about that, haven't we? Photos or videos?
Videos, I think.
Right.
You know, shoot in 4K and you can always get a photo out of it. But yeah, yeah.
Favorite camera?
The one I've got on my phone.
Really, not like an old camera that you used in the schools?
No, because I'm not making films.
Yeah.
Then what I need is the opportunity. So I need to have a camera with me all the time. So I'm getting, just those little bits which are good.
Yeah. You don't use any old cameras still?
No.
Do you know the great Matt Warlow?
Yeah.
They use a lot of old cameras and stuff like that. You don't collect old cameras?
No.
No. Is Matt Warlow, a good friend of mine? Is Matt Warlow one of your favourite students?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And also the last question on the quickfire questions is: if you had the choice for someone to sit on this sofa on the show, who would it be?
It's difficult because obviously I want to say Rob Ferrin.
Yeah.
But that would be boring because that would be like two lecturers. I think it would be Jimmer.
Yes, actually, yeah. I agree with you. Yeah. Jimmer doesn't want to be on. He's a bit camera shy. We need to get Jim. We need to get an. What's it called?
Drunk is what.
No, not drunk. I was going to say petition actually.
Yeah.
Get a petition of lots of signatures to get on the show. Yeah, definitely. So just quickly, is there any friend mentions and shout outs you'd like to thank anyone on the show at all? Friends and shout outs or student shout outs you'd like to thank on the show? Any thank yous?
On the show?
Yeah. Or no, so friends and family, your children, your wife.
Yeah. My family have enough of me, so I don't need to say anything to them. Well, I kind of want to say to the third years who are leaving now that it's been good, and I think that it's important to remember that a lot of the current students have gone through some really difficult times because of COVID. And it's great to see how they've come through and are continuing to. And I wish them all well. All my friends, which I think I've got 3, There may be 2 now. But no, it's yeah.
All the tutors, lecturers, Rob, Fiona,
Everyone, yeah,
Jake,
yeah,
Julio.
all the team, best team in the university. Yeah,
All the students.
all the students.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. I usually ask this person on as the guest if they have an Instagram account that they want to promote themselves. I know you don't have any.
I do have an Instagram.
You?
Of course I do.
You do?
I have to look at student Instagrams, and the only way to do that is by having an Instagram account.
Do you? What's it called?
I have no idea.
Oh. Do you follow film production?
No.
I'm
It's
gonna have
got
to
some
find you.
ridiculous number at the end of the name of the account. No, I have the accounts. I have the ability to look at accounts. I have the ability to follow accounts. I am on Twitter for hours every day, but I have never posted on Twitter. X. I don't get involved in creating any social. I look at socials.
You look at Twitter a lot? X, I mean?
God, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you look at, like what people say about certain things that are happening in the world?
Oh, I follow politics and news and
Wow.
stuff on it a lot.
Wow, I didn't know that. But can you do me a massive favour?
Yeah.
There's this. It's only for my friends, but there's a social media app called Be Real. I don't know if you've heard of it. Called Be Real.
No.
And it is a app where it's.
Oh, everyone's got to do something at the same
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
I want to make all my friends super jealous. Is it alright if you could be on my Be Real on the show? That'd be absolutely brilliant. You're probably going to be I'm going to be the first person to have Paul on my Be Real. So I'm going to have Paul on my show. There you go. Oh, awesome. Look at that. That's just brilliant. I've got Paul Carter on my show on my Be Real. That's just absolutely fantastic. I'm just so happy. I'm going to send that and make everyone so jealous. Apart from that, that is the show.
Great.
Thank you so much for being on the show. You are a legend among a lot of people. You are. A lot of students say that.
Oh.
Well, but you're a great tutor, and thank you for taking the time out of your show to come on the show. I know we scheduled some stuff. You're the person that I really wanted to get on. A lot of people did. But yeah, thank you so much for all your work on behalf of, like, I know you're retiring next year, but thank you so much for all your work and the hard work you put in. Tutors should get paid more, definitely, and more recognition as well. But thank you so much for all the help that you do with, like, Canvas and marking and organising and stuff like that. And hopefully it'd be nice to do like a 5 tutor special.
Yes.
We get you in the middle, and then that would be cool, wouldn't it?
You
So
need
maybe
a
you
bigger
can come
sofa.
back. Yeah, a bigger sofa. Yeah, exactly. I end this show every time. I don't know if anyone's noticed. It was my birthday yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday!
Yeah, and my friend Hope got me this Harrison Ford mug yesterday because I love Harrison Ford. So I thought, as the occasion, because it's kind of the last show of the semester, I thought it'd be nice to have like a special kind of thing. So this is my Harrison Ford mug. So Harrison Ford, I always say at the end of the show, I want Harrison Ford to come on my show.
Yeah, we should.
I'm a huge Harrison Ford fan. Huge.
I don't have any connections, but if I did, I'd have.
Do you?
No, I don't. No.
Okay, if you could do the domino effect and see if you can get him on the show, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Don't forget to sign my book. My book is there. I'll give you. It's a chat on that book. I'll make sure you sign it on the right page. But Paul, thank you very much for being on the show, and good luck to everything that you do and the Winchester Film Festival. That's a good thing. Winchester Film Festival. Go follow that. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you.
And if you want to be on the show, let me know. That's the end of the academic year. This show will come out in like ages. It will come out ages. But if you want to come on, please do CT+. That's Chat and That. That's Paul Carter. I got him on. That's Paul Carter. That's Chat and That. Thank you very much, and see you next time.